Morning. Hello. Welcome to an impromptu what I eat in a day. I was not planning on filming anything, but I figured that now that I have 1,000 recent subscribers in the past few days that mostly came from a commentary on what I eat in a day that I made, that I might do an updated one, show you what I'm eating more currently, more recently, and give a bit more serious commentary myself on that. Because in addressing the tea, I don't want to, ramble on about this and give it unnecessary weight when it is just an energy drain, but like those of you who follow me on all other social media probably saw that there was a carnivore, and I put that in quotes because obviously as humans that's not what we are, but there's someone in the carnivore community that somehow found my what I eat in a day, did a commentary on that was definitely the most demeaning, slanderous, actually maybe not slanderous because that's a legal term, but the most demeaning thing I've ever seen done to me online. By far the most shocking influx of negative comments that I was not even aware that people could possibly hold against me that I've ever seen. Like, just so many body shaming and ad hominem attacks that don't even make sense. The comment was even made in the video that was not even mainly necessarily about my diet, but was really just an encompassing accumulation of like me as a person. It was very strange, but there was a comment that I do want to address about having satanic tattoos, which I literally found hilarious because I'm not a Satanist. I know very little about Satanism. I don't pretend to be very well educated in the practice at all, which if you're unfamiliar with Satanism, you might not understand that it's not demonic or whatnot, it's like a spiritual path, but frankly I have no satanic tattoos. I know literally nothing about Satanism to a large extent. My tattoos are mostly Sanskrit and about yogic philosophy. For example, I have ahimsa written in Sanskrit on my arm, which represents nonviolence and compassion towards all living things. On my ankle, I have a cobra with the North Node, or Rahu, the symbol, which the mythology behind it in a lot of Vedic text I find really compelling, and I was born under an alignment with it. I have Latin on my shoulder that says nullius in verba, or take no one's word for it. So I have amor fati on my wall and on my shoulder, that means love your fate. All of my tattoos are philosophically based, nothing to do with Satanism, but I thank you for trying with that one. Basically, if you are someone who found me through that video, then you see that the comments are actually the most atrocious things like I've ever seen, to the point where I couldn't feel that hurt, because people who leave those comments are obviously not the people around me who are living their life to the fullest. No one I've ever met in class in studying something that I'm also passionate about would be someone to leave those kinds of comments. No one who is a colleague of mine or in any other profession I've been a part of would possibly be the kind of person to leave one of those comments. And I would go as far to say that no one I see around me in New York walking their dog or getting groceries would probably even be someone to leave those comments. People living their lives on a day-to-day basis, I don't think even that they couldn't possibly stoop to that level of cognitive lowest common denominator. Like, I cannot even take the comment seriously calling me like deranged or whatever the hell, like I can't take them seriously because I cannot relate to being at that lack of fulfillment in my power and my drive in life. And that's literally what it is. It's leeching. It's seeing someone who is so powerful in their distinct self that you can't even fathom it, and therefore you're leeching onto it with the commentary that you think somehow can connect yourself to them, when no, I'm up here flying doing my thing, like, no. And that's why I'm not adding fuel to the fire, despite this person, this creator, actually DMing me on Instagram first, like literally like sliding into the DMs, which I found unfathomable, given like you would create a demeaning, misogynistic, offensive commentary on someone and then try to like, and you're favoriting like you're hearting the comments that are atrociously misogynistic, and you try to slide in my like, what? And then he asked if we could do like an astrology video together. After I asked, all I responded was, what was the point of the video? I wanted to see if he would respond. He didn't. He just kept sending this emoji, which is really uncomfortable. He was like, do you want to do an astrology video? And that's when I just blocked him, because I don't know if influencers do this, where like the people they're involved in drama with, they're like in cahoots with and like speaking with them. I don't play that game. I do me. I'm running 2 businesses. Like, I don't have fucking time to get involved with people who are yeah, I don't have time for that. Because in this video, since I know that a lot of you watching, or all of you watching, probably are not the negatively polarized people playing leech onto my content. You're probably honestly like found me and were interested, or you for a minute were playing into drama but are actually like vegan or someone interested in that. I wanted to do a more recent updated full day of eating. Obviously, first off, I'm not a dietitian, obviously. However, I do have intentional reason and rationale behind the way that I eat. So this is in no way a prescription for you to eat the exact same way that I do. Obviously, common sense, we're different bodies, different lifestyles, different preferences, but I do want to convey that perhaps the way behind why I eat the way I eat can be something that influences you to make informed decisions about the way that you eat. So I have already had my La Colombe cold brew. There's like a millimeter left of this. La Colombe cold brew is my favorite thing. I am a coffee person. I've loved the flavor my entire life, and cold brew, like, get it auto shipped to you. Join me in the elite coffee world of New York. And even though this is kind of a chattier what I eat in a day, people have been asking me for vlogs, which I find funny because all of my time is spent in my apartment either creating content that you watch or editing that content, like alone at my desk. So I don't really have that exciting of a outside of my apartment life. I am in here creating my little like world for myself. So I will take you through kind of what a day in my life would be. For my morning routine, I have a full video on that with my meditation and my workout and whatnot that I will link down below for my morning routine that I've already done. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to show you what I eat and talk as I do that, because the times that I'm not talking or eating, I'm seeing clients and I'm prepping content. That's what I do on Fridays, is I see clients midday and I prep content around that. Usually every single day from 8 a.m. to noon, I am prepping my content for the day because it takes so long to add text to everything I film on TikTok specifically, which we're growing, yay. I'm chatting so much. I'm sorry, just wanted to let you know like what the day will kind of be like. Let's get into breakfast. And before I make breakfast, here's a quick rundown of the supplements I take. So this is the B12 spray. I take it every other day because it's a fairly high dose for me and my body, so I do it every other. I also get vitamins from Care of. This isn't sponsored or anything, it's just an easy way for me to get everything at once. I take omega-3. I take a 2 omega-3 things in here. I did not have a low omega-3 level or any omega-3 deficiency before supplementing, but I started eating a lot more tahini once I actually got to college and started making tahini dressings a lot. And just because I know that that has a lot of omega-6s and I was eating like a fair amount of it, I started supplementing to even it out. My blood tests were fine both before and after, so I take it just for ensuring it, but it's not anything like major. And I also take vitamin D, D3, vegan D3. When I actually got blood work done earlier this year, everything was like really pristine and really good. Like my doctor and I were like really happy. Like it came out so well, but I had really high B12. The two things that were kind of messed up were I had really high B12 from taking that supplement every day. That was a bit much for me. And I had low D3 because I was not supplementing, because I thought I was walking outside and I was okay, but it's New York, it's cloudy, and yeah, my D3 was like a little bit low, so I just started supplementing that and lowering my B12, and everything has been great and fine ever since. And it's evened out some of the energy weirdness I was having, where I was having huge spikes in the morning and then like crashing around 11 and then okay for the rest of the day. But yeah, doing that evened it out. And those are the only supplements I take, because if you're eating a well-planned plant-based diet, you shouldn't feel the need to over-supplement with things that you can get through your diet. Now on to actually making breakfast. So I'm going to be making a cacao yogurt bowl, my favorite breakfast as of late. My favorite breakfasts always include chocolate, cacao, you know the drill. And this is definitely a pretty meal that takes like a bit more time than usual. Like if I don't know, just other meals like toast or whatnot, I'll just throw together like berries and nut butter and toast, and that's like a 3-second thing. This takes a little while longer, and it'll take a little while longer today because I don't have any fresh fruit. So first thing is that I'm going to be cooking up some frozen blueberries and raspberries with a bit of vanilla and spices as my fruit. I'm gonna heat these up. So yeah, in this, which is very steamy right now, frozen raspberries and blueberries, cinnamon, and vanilla. and we're gonna cover that and let this cook a bit while we work on the other ingredients. Getting out my heart bowl, which if you follow me on Instagram, you know I use these all the time. And for the base, we are using some Kite Hill plain unsweetened almond milk yogurt. Next, we add the cacao, which is in an old coconut butter jar. I'm just gonna like drop some in because I'm too lazy to measure it right now. That's like a tablespoon. Then I'm going to add some of this Vivo Life strawberry vanilla protein. As you guys know, I'm not a protein obsessed person. If you're eating a variety of macronutrients, a variety of foods, if you're not an idiot and you're, varied and harmonious in the nutrients that you're eating, you don't really need to supplement with protein. Like, you can get it from Whole Foods. I just happen to have this on hand. I'm just literally doing like a scoop from a random, what is this, like a half tablespoon? I don't know, I'm gonna use like a heaping. Let's do a little bit more. There's no need to go out and get this. I just happen to get it because I'm a sucker for a discount code and I'm wanting to get something new to add in my yogurt bowls. I'm adding maca. I love maca. I love the flavor. So yeah, I do like a teaspoon roughly. And even though I added cinnamon in my berries, I'm also going to add cinnamon in here because I like it. The protein has a bit of stevia, I believe, but I have a sweet tooth, so I'm gonna add like a bit of stevia in here. And then we mix. It was strange too how probably along with like body image comments, the most commented thing on that video was regarding like my fruit and the commentary I said about my breakfast and fruit. All I said was that I like to get like all my sugars and everything through whole fruits. I don't know how it's 2020 and people still think that eating fruit is the same thing as eating like straight sugar, which I mean, like, I don't care if you eat straight sugar, like do you, that kind of thing. It's just that like, it feels better to just eat the fruit, and that's a whole food with fiber and micronutrients and everything you're getting with it. It is not an isolated overt sugar. It's crazy that people in 2020 are still thinking that eating a moderate amount of fruit is somehow, or eating even like a large amount if that's, right for you and your energy levels and you're active like me, which I mean, I could probably even eat more fruit and could eat a lot more fruit and be fine. But it was very strange that the discussion dietarily was often around that fruit comment where I was just like, I prefer to get my sugars in full fruit, so I eat fruit with breakfast and do that. And people were saying either like idiot who wants to avoid sugar but eats fruit, which I mean, like, please, like, we're in 2020, do you still think that? And then also people who came from like the more extreme fruitarianism and were on the channel, which were like, look up Durian Rider's videos, like, he eats so much fruit and so much overt sugar, it's what we're designed to eat. And I was like, bitch, I have been here since the beginning. I know the whole raw tofu fruitarian Durian Rider shit. I think the reason that I've been vegan for so long is that I didn't fall into any of the extreme versions, which are not representative of veganism, but are rather like a fringe, I don't need to either side of being against fruit altogether because you are some, I don't know, probably like right-wing carnivore, like just idiot, frankly, or someone who is sadly, into the really fringe niches of veganism. Like, neither of those is the answer, and I can eat a moderate amount of fruit and be totally cool because fruit's one of the best things for you in the entire world. So I'm gonna enjoy that. Okay, this is well mixed. And I'm also going to be adding this Catalina Crunch cereal. I think I mentioned it before. I love this cereal. Like, it tastes so good. And if you know me, like, I don't give a fuck that it's keto. Like, that's not anything that is appealing to me. I'm not a part of like that culture or anything, but it doesn't have any of the crazy like additives or nasties of regular cereal. Not that I'm saying, I'm not glorifying diet culture clean eating. I'm just saying objectively, like, I would choose this over a cereal with added things that I don't need in my diet. And this is like a quote like high protein cereal, which again I'm not looking for, but objectively, like, I like this. It doesn't cause me any issues. I like to add it on I just feel like I want to explain why I'm not appealing to any type of rigid standard, but rather like I choose the more nutritious options when they taste really amazing as well. And on the topic of eating healthy, it was actually strange to see people like also accusing me of orthorexia, which as someone who's studied psychology and disorders and things like that is kind of frustrating because the term itself is fairly invalid to use in the sense that if someone's obsession with health turns unhealthy, then it is no longer healthy. So the word orthorexia would no longer be valid because you can be categorized under a different issue. Like we have ways of categorizing obsession or of restriction under other terms. And so if you're describing someone as orthorexic and they legitimately have an issue, then they're not orthorexic, they have a different disorder. And if you're accusing them of orthorexia because they're eating healthy and that's actually healthy and they're passionate about that, then it's not a disorder. You know what I mean? That it's never really, the term is just really not useful. Frankly, it's just not really, it can always be designated as something more specific. The issue is not in and of itself a problem with healthy eating. It's someone who is obsessive and is not eating healthy but thinks that they are, or it's someone who, like me, really loves eating healthy and is not in any kind of, isn't kind of any guilt-ridden mindset, but the fact that I've been eating like this for almost my entire life because I started providing for myself and my own food at a fairly young age, and I thrive on this, and I literally don't eat those other foods. Like, I'm not in a space or in a place where they're really offered. Like, I live in New York, almost everywhere that I eat, or when I'm cooking at home, it's Whole Foods based. It's just me thriving on what I eat, not with any ulterior motive or with anything, and I love to share that, and that's it. And I like to make cute meals like this as well. Starting with the berries, which I will try to get a clip of, but it's hard to film. It's hard to film like this. We're gonna do it though. We are going to do it. Yeah. Someone is at my door, fuck. My La Colombe auto ship order arrived. That was what that was. Let's put the mint chocolate cereal on here, which is now falling everywhere. Lastly, a big spoon of peanut butter. We're gonna have to 2-spoon this. That is breakfast. Let me see if I can get it in the light here. Let's put it down. I also ended up adding a smidge of shredded coconut, but yeah, it's pretty cute. This lighting is not doing it justice, but it'll be pretty when I eat it, when it swirls together. So yeah, there we go. I have just been seeing clients since morning until midday now, so I'm going to, well, first put away the things in my dishwasher and start making lunch. And I'm going to be steaming and then air frying some Japanese sweet potatoes. That makes the texture on point, steaming and then air frying. And I also have some chickpeas that I'm going to air fry as well after these sweet potatoes are done steaming. So sweet potato, going to cut up. So while I cut up the sweet potato, I'll talk a little bit about what a lot of people were asking me after that video came out, which was how I felt about such really insane comments about my body. Because that was the focus, and that was the most alarming thing I was reading. And in a lot of ways, it was just kind of strange, because now after doing my own thing for a while, I'm getting recognized online, but like, this has always been me. It's so strange as someone who studied psychology to see random people like diagnosing me with whatever the hell they think I have, like anorexia or whatnot, when like, that's never something, you can't ever diagnose that literally on someone, no matter how thin they are, because the requirement for anorexia is a fear of weight gain. And if someone is thin for set point reasons or even for other health issues, they therefore cannot have anorexia. And so it doesn't really get to me, so to speak, when people try and like diagnose that, because I know that they would never be doing that if they actually knew what that illness entailed. So now I'm putting these in here. I'm gonna steam these into here, and there we go. And while I do that, I'm going to skin these chickpeas. I usually make my own, but I didn't have any ready, and every grocery store in New York has been out of tempeh. I'm really sad. I literally went to Trader Joe's just for tempeh because Whole Foods is out, and Trader Joe's was out of tempeh too. I think Light Life is having a shortage or something. So I just got like a can of chickpeas. But there's always skins, and I like to take the skins off. So as I was saying, yeah, it's just always strange, but I don't take it too seriously, because no one with an actual degree or understanding of psychological issues is diagnosing people over the internet. At least no one valid is. And so it's just weird to me, as like people, no one who is really happy in their life, as I said, is going to take the time to comment on someone's body and say things like that and just make really cruel comments. And I don't assume that anyone, I don't assume that anyone who was commenting those things actually then takes the time or is here like watching this now. Like, that's not going to be the same people. But if you are, like, I'd be interested why you feel comfortable commenting those things and whatnot. In that way, just it's very interesting, and I'd be interested to hear. So sweet potatoes are ready. I'm putting them in the air fryer while I remove the rest of the skins of these sweet potatoes. I mean, of these chickpeas. And now with both the chickpeas and the sweet potatoes in there for the last 7 minutes, because I cooked the sweet potatoes for 10 and I add the chickpeas in for the final 7, I'm adding garlic powder and paprika as spices, and then going back in. For a dressing here, I will be mashing up half of this large avocado after removing, oh shit. I know you can do the knife thing and get this out, but that freaks me out. Then adding in some of this pickled cabbage, so it's like an avocado cabbage mash. And then for spices, I'm adding a dash of cayenne, like literally like a dash, because you guys know that shit is intense, and some dill. This ends up being like the ugliest shit ever, and then I might have to add water to it, but for now we're mashing. So this ends up literally being pink sludge, and I'm going to throw it onto my base of greens, which are romaine, baby kale, and cilantro. And we mix this up. And last but not least, actually like the most important part, adding the sweet potatoes and chickpeas. It's literally a mess, like there's no, this is a mess. For seasoning, I always add black pepper. Like you need to add black pepper. I add herb seasoning because I'm all about the herbs. And of course, we gotta add some seeds and some everything with the bagel. So some sesame and some whatever else is in everything with the bagel action going on there. So there we go. The lunch situation is done. Special delivery has arrived. I just got back from my evening walk and my La Cologne package of cold brew has arrived. So like downstairs I used my keys and I took that out of the box, and then I put the box in our recycling area. Carried the prized possession up into the 5th floor walk up. Anyway, while I put this away, I'm going to be having one of these electric cloud drinks. I'm a sucker for anything that's like wellnessy and like trendy, super foodie. Not that that's an actual thing, but like the trend of just cool things to have. I'm a sucker for that whole New York scene. And so my friend actually sent me a few of these because she liked them, and I saw that they had a bunch of like things in them like CBD and adaptogens. I didn't think that the amount of CBD in this would do anything to me. Like I thought it would be negligible, like how adaptogens don't really make me feel any certain way, but they're nice to include. And surprise, but I had some of this and I was drinking it fairly quickly a few weeks ago and I was wiped out. Like I'm a straight edge, as you can see by the anti-alcohol poster behind me, and I was completely floored. Like I was having a panic episode on Twitter asking people, I think it's 15 milligrams, is that like a lot? Now I still have them because I love the way that these taste, but I'm slow about the way that I drink them, so they don't, like, I'm just very, very slow with the way I drink them. So I'm gonna have one of these. Actually, I'll show you, like they come in really cool colors and flavors, and this is not sponsored, but they have like a cotton candy, they have a peach, they have a blue raspberry, and yeah, sour watermelon, like very, very cool flavors. And the colors are cool. There we go. Can drink the froth here. Very foamy. Anyway, I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna finish up my schoolwork for the day, or like do it until I die. Like I don't have a stopping point any day. I just literally fill every space in my day with work until like I can't anymore. I wouldn't say it's a problem, but I would say it's a very tiring way of life, and I'm learning that there might be ulterior ways to manage my time. But I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna put my coffee away, and I will see you for dinner. How do people look cute with their hood up? Or maybe this hood is just too small, but I feel like I look like a fucking dog with a hood on. Anyway, for dinner I am making a tofu and veggie curry. I have rice prepped, and I also have some tofu I need to use up, so I will show you as I go along. For veggies, I'm gonna do onions, carrots, kabocha squash, and kale. Good old kabocha squash action we have here, the first one of the season, organic kabocha. We're gonna cut it and we're gonna hope that this shit is ripe, because worst thing ever is cutting into a squash and it's like pale and you just know you fucking broke your back carrying this across New York for nothing. I made brown rice for the next few days. This is the brown basmati rice from Thrive Market. It's like my favorite rice. This and black rice are the best, so I highly recommend. I like getting everything from Thrive Market delivered. I'm not sponsored. I want them to sponsor me. Maybe if I hit like 20K, they'll sponsor me. I don't know. I get like fucking everything from you guys, Thrive Market, literally, because I don't want to carry shit up my stairs from New York grocery stores. So if it's dry and it's non-perishable, I buy it from you. Anyway, we're gonna heat this up. While that is cooking, am I in frame? While that rice is heating up, we're gonna cut into this kabocha squash and see if she's good. I hope I'm in frame. My camera, by the way, doesn't have a selfie cam. It's like a pro camera in that way. I'm way underqualified to be using this camera, actually. But it means that I don't ever really know if I'm in frame. I usually film in my room with a mirror behind it to know. I have a notification. Someone wants to send me a message. Don't give a shit. I'm kidding, I love you all. So squash looks good. We're gonna cut her up. I did a pretty large chunk, but that's fine. I'm going to air fry these squash cubes and then add them to the curry with everything else once they're done air frying. First, I'm gonna air fry the squash, and then after squash is done, air fry my tofu. First veggie we're cooking are the onions. So I do like a splash of water. Turn this up. For spices, let's do curry powder as always, which I need to refill, so maybe not that much curry powder. Coriander. That's cumin. Now this is coriander. And let's throw in some ginger. And some black pepper to finish it off. Minced garlic. Some red curry paste. This is like the necessary secret, the red curry paste. Someone was like harassing me on my DMs being like, your curry paste isn't vegan, and like this shit is literally just like lemongrass, garlic, chili. Like, I don't know whose red curry paste wouldn't be vegan, but I can assure you, whoever you were that doesn't have like a profile picture but was harassing me, my curry paste is vegan. Now this is tomato paste, which I also am obsessed with. Like, who doesn't love a good tomato paste situation? I could probably eat straight tomato paste if I was on a stranded island and had to pick between like tomato paste and various foods. I would probably pick tomato paste over about 95% of other tomato product derivatives. Ooh, so my air fryer just went off. We'll see if the squash is ready as this cooks. And let me zoom in. It appears to be ready. So I'm gonna put this aside until the curry's like ready. Now, we add in our tofu. This is local tofu from Fresh Tofu. I don't know what brand this is, but they have it at Whole Foods in New York, and I highly recommend this tofu. It's really good. I like all the local tofu brands. And voila. Oh shit, I had it all. Oh fuck, well okay, tofu cubes are, I tried. In the meantime, carrots. We need a bit more water. This looks good. We're gonna add in our tofu. Soy is our friend. I'm a soy slut. The kale. Oop, a tofu fell. A tiny tofu. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And finally, the coconut milk. I love cooking my own meals, and people ask me all the time like how I have the energy or the motivation to do it, but I think cooking my own meals has become so important because it's like a meditation of infusing mindfulness into what I'm creating. Like thanking my nourishment and being mindful about the way I prepare it, I just find definitely makes a difference in how fulfilled I feel when eating. And I doubt that the people who come after me for what I eat, you know, have much appreciation in their lives, which gives me compassion for hopefully them getting to that place eventually. And I get the question a lot if I meal prep, and the answer is that I don't prep full meals, but I prep ingredients. So like you saw, I prepped my rice, I had my chickpeas ready earlier. So I prep ingredients so that I can have meals ready for what I intuitively want. And usually I do like a 3-day cycle where if I have a block of tofu, that'll last like 2 to 3 days. And so I'll do like 3 days of tofu dishes, like things like that, where it works out pretty well for me to create within the structure of reality. Now let's plate this bitch. Oof, I did it. I did it. This is a really uncomfortable angle. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. I have this Trader Joe's chunky spicy guac, which I shouldn't have gotten because I got avocados. I guess I'll have this even for after I finish my avocados, but I'm gonna add a little bit of guac because I like a little sauce in the middle. Like guac, baba ganoush, or hummus always on my meals, always. And now let's adorn with a little bit of cilantro. And finally, let's add on the hemp seeds. I know hemp seeds are weird on this, but I need to use hemp seeds up. I would usually do sesame, but I'm waiting to open my sesame seeds until after I finish my hemp seeds. And actually for seasoning, I'm gonna do a little bit of this New Bay seasoning from Primal Palette all over everything. And there you have it. This is the meal, the red curry with tofu veggies all over brown rice. Boom. For dessert, what else would I have? What else would I have? Take a guess. Chocolate toast. Peanut butter, please, please, please be cooperative. Come on, there we go, there we go. There we go, perfection. Voila, we have our chocolate toast. If you're still watching me and have not tried this, you're not a real subscriber. You are fake. That is everything I'm going to be eating today. I hope that with what I shared food-wise and maybe not food-wise, that this inspires you to keep living your life in a way that might cognitively erupt people who cannot do the same. Because it does get to a point where it's really liberating to go from little comments bugging you so much. I know that the beginning of this year, when I had just begun to start growing on social media, little comments would get to me to the point of, you know, I had to address and call out and like nail down every single hater or person that was leaving me unwarranted criticism, and that built up to this past summer having possibly the worst mental health of my entire life aside from like childhood trauma, because it's a real energetic recalibration to be at a level where you're getting an influx of such energy of other people, and it's really liberating to now be at a point where like the band-aid is ripped off and like, you guys fucking like, it's just weird going from like a little nobody to apparently being enough of a somebody on the side of doing things that the side of people not actually doing things and progressing in the world have to clap back at it. Because my new normal is now knowing that I'm at such a high velocity just in my way of living life with my business and my brand and everything I'm putting out there, that's gonna get some friction as that goes, and that's liberating to know that it's so meaningful to just do my own thing and not worry about the tiny flecks of fire that are coming off, you know? I'm learning more and more that there are people who either based on nurture or nature, or both probably, that they just can never ever feel comfortable in the presence of those that are living in their own power. And that, I know that because I lived with one of them. Like my mom growing up, I can recognize the way that she spoke as kind of similar to an online troll, and just always having to focus on convoluting someone's essence into something that is a critique when that's not necessary, and we can just admire others instead of leeching off of them. Because if you're like me and you're constantly educating yourself, you are going after a master's and a PhD in the next however many years. You're thriving, you're building 2 businesses, you own 2 businesses already that you're building, and you're building like an empire for yourself eventually to change the world. You can't fucking care about some presupposed carnivore who's a human pretending to be a fucking predator who tries to make you into something you're not. Because sadly I'm not Satanist. Maybe I will be, maybe you've inspired me, but I'm just covered in Sanskrit. So this is so fucking long and I know that, so I thank you guys for staying with me if you watched the whole thing. I hope I don't sound like a guy. I know in that video it was said that I sounded like a guy. I have a really high voice, like actually when I used to do theater and speech, like I have a really high voice. But this was long. Love you guys. Yeah, take care.
There is one thing